Good to go.
All right, good afternoon, good happy Monday, everybody. Please put a VV in the comment section appropriately. Just make sure you can hear me, you can see me. Let's see here. I got Joey in the background today. The alert will be hitting any minute here, so give it just a moment. Let everyone make their way into the room. I'm trying to... There we go. All right, everyone can hear me. Everybody can see me. Everybody have a good weekend. Hey, Jazz, we got Covington, Matthew, Janice in the house, David, Evie, Reynolds, Bill. See here. Sell the build up by the news event? What do you mean by that, Bill? I am just curious. I saw on in the VectorVest 7 software, when I opened up the homepage pre-market this morning, there was a red light. And the last time I looked, we did move that to a green light as well. So you can see a little bit of indecision there. I saw the primary wave flashing up just a tad right now. So again, with the MTI still elevated, I would be more inclined to worry about, protecting profits, taking profits from this recent run, especially if your whole goal was, swing trading off of the, the tariff sell-off bottom. Bill says Iran bombing. Yeah, the Iranian bombing. Those stocks aren't jumping as much. We're going to take a look at that. I got some of the stories there. I think it's going to, the bombing on the nuclear facilities is one thing, but there's definitely something that is catching my attention a little bit more when it comes to at least affecting the market, affecting stocks, commodities, things of that nature. Yes, but the Iran threat is perceived as neutralized. That's from Cheryl. We'll see if it's neutralized. Last I heard of some report that because of the damage, was it the IEA, the International Atomic Energy Association, wasn't able to confirm or deny, but we'll get those reports out. We'll see what happens on that front. But there's something else with the Iranian conflict that is garnishing my attention. Sherilyn? Yes. All right. So that being said, look, the Dow Jones already went negative here. Now, these major indices were much more positive territory, but you see a lot of those gains given up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the major indices, see the intraday action here. We'll take a look at QQQ, SPY, VVC, VectorVest Composite. All right. See the Qs sitting right at this level of support here. We got resistance up at the top. Let's take a look at a 3-month time span. You see the 20-day EMA, buying pressure there yesterday, bottom wick, buying pressure there today, right? We're seeing that weakness in the market that's been, shown with prominence of yellow lights in the color guard. Crude oil, Ryan, is that a play right now? Paul, we're going to get to that. I got a whole watch list where I'm going to take your picks as well. It's just going to be gold, oil, shipping, defense stocks, all the geopolitical usual suspects, to play, swing trades based off what news. Hims went for a slide. I saw that, Jazz. Was it Novo Nordisk ended their contract or something like that, but the stock was down like 20%. So big drop in Hims today, 20%. So if you're in that, definitely get defensive. We'll take a look at that stock as well. But I think it was Novo Nordisk, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay, Jazz. Yeah, so something about their licensing deal with Novo Nordisk. They're stopping that. Something went on with that. Just Google Novo Nordisk Hims. You'll see there's 20% downside. Last time I looked at it, it's pretty much a full body candlestick to the downside. We definitely take a look at it, see if there's any kind of bottom wick. I was in the VectorVest 7 software looking 31%. I mean, the stock is overvalued. It was way overvalued. Actually, let's take a look at it here just a second. But as far as the Qs, we see the rollover, right? Market trying to find that level of support. I see a full body or a nice body on this candlestick today. Obviously, no confirmation. It's really going to come to about 534 as far as the Qs. But if we break below this 20-day EMA, which is right where these bottom wicks are, that's 524.44. The next level support is not going to come in around 505 to 499. So if you are thinking about getting bearish on the market, especially on the Qs, look at the Qs staying around this 524.44 level. Right now we're at 528. So a couple dollars to the downside. Probably get some confirmation there for the bulls. You can start open, get a little bit more defensive, things of that nature. As well, the DEW is showing some weakness. I'm going to take a look at the DEW in just a moment here. But here's the S&P 500. Again, floating right on that 20-day EMA. We saw some buying pressure here several times. Here's one time. This was back in May, it looks like here. Yep, right towards the end of May. Another touch here, using that as a level support around April 30th. So again, and here we got the 3 actually crossing below the 8. So, as far as, buying stocks right now, in general, not going to be a big promoter of that. We'll take a look at the VectorVest 7 system here. Let's see. Mildly bullish. If you are going to do it, VectorVest can advocate buying the safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. Now, if we go back to the graphs here, let's take a look at the 1 day on the S&P. You see failing to meet new highs, always trading at session lows here, not too far off of it. Here's the level support coming in, probably right around it here. Yep, there it is. You can see the touch here, retest here, and that's a perfect bounce off support play. So just keep an eye on this level here. This is definitely a good level to take a look at. That's going to be 595.39. Right now we're at 595.75, so we're not too far off here. Yeah, HIMS. HIMS is down 31%. When I looked at it this morning, it was down 20%. So again, the market, just trying to find out which direction. We saw the stall in the market. Again, we're seeing that stall here in the S&P, pretty flat. You can see a little bit of a rollover here. But as far as some of our market timing signals, we're going to go to the VectorVest composite now. Let's go to 6-month chart. Actually, let's do a 3-month chart. So the valuation, when the markets sell off, look at price action compared to value. The market was valued, right? It was actually undervalued slightly. So we'll call it fairly valued, but it did get under its valuation. Since then, a nice run to the upside. But look, the same story as the S&P, the NASDAQ 100, the QQQs, still that 20-day EMA, crucial level. We are retesting that level right now. If we get much of a break here, my level support is going to come in around $69.99, $70 we'll call it, and then around $69.52. This is where I'd like to see the market, at least try to find its bottom. Nice little pivot. Hopefully continue this rally, right? Stopped out of PSX for profit this way. Hey, stopping out on the profit end, that's always a good day, Troy. It's better than stopping out on a loss. HIMS is no longer on song. John, we sold the last of our August SMR calls this AM before it dipped. Okay. Uranium's also taking a hit today. The small module reactors. Interesting. Spot on Dash, new highs. Every Dash driver listed as the spot. That's my theory. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them do listen to Spotify, especially being on the road so long. But again, the theme here at the major indices, just be careful right now. We're seeing a lot of retests on that crucial 20-day EMA. Especially if your whole goal was just, to swing trade the tariff lows, back here in April. You see the DEW, this is our swing trading signal. We are still in an up signal as of today with the DEW. So if we get a much more inclination to the downside, and actually let me change this to the DEW layout. We'll go to Pro Trader Timing DEW. Again, this is the benefit of having the VectorVest 7 software. Price action meeting that qualification. We're literally just waiting on the DPO right now. It's sitting at 0.43. So any kind of, negative sentiment in the market, whether it's today or tomorrow, could bring the DEW potentially in a down situation. You can see the DPO, flirting right with that oscillation point of 0, right? That's what I'm saying. Get a little bit defensive on your swing trades. Probably not a bad idea. Paul says, is GM Motors a good defensive play? Seems to be ranging around 50-day SMA. Why is Tesla up to percent? I didn't realize Tesla was up to percent, but if I had to guess, Joanne, I probably should have done it as a story today. Tesla has got some contract. I think it was a gigawatt factory in China. Your thoughts on Tesla Robotaxi debut? Was that? I did not even. It's the Robotaxi. Okay, but I did see an article something about some kind of massive project in China. I didn't even realize the Robotaxi debut was yesterday. Not gonna pretend like I did. Definitely enjoyed my weekend. Robotaxi at Texas. Okay. What? That might be a good video to do this evening. That's not a bad one. Maybe I should research that after the live stream today. But yeah, that's what we've all been waiting for. And apparently with the stock up 10%, investors like what they see so far, at least as far as, the 1 day sentiment, or it could be, just hype momentum play with the debut. We'll see. I'll have to take a look at some videos and judge for myself. Because, again, their initial goal was to be ahead of the curve here, but we're seeing a lot of big players, Amazon, Google, being, two of the main ones right now. I vote for a Tesla video. Thoughts on Tesla, please, Ryan, please. I'll take a look at the chart here just about. We'll definitely put Tesla on the list here. Actually, I'll probably put that in the news. Ryan, looks like weighted moving average on the VectorVest is slightly under the moving average. I jumped into Contras last week. Jazz, okay. Tiptoeing into them with the primary wave down. Not a bad idea. But again, Jazz, some real confirmation. Just look at the major indices here. We're right on that level, the 20-day EMA. So if you see any kind of pivot off that 20-day EMA, if you see some sentiment, that primary wave signal hold today, definitely, just make sure you got to stop at a place that any shorts you may have put in last week, right? All right. Major indices, like I said, it's showing some warning signs here. The DPO, the DEW is still up. But again, if there's any kind of sell-off in the afternoon or, good sell-off tomorrow, we're on that verge. We could get a DW down signal. That's why I'm a little bit more inclined, especially on my swing traders, my shorter-term traders. I'd be a little bit more worried about taking profits than just pulling the trigger, Obviously, though, every stock has a little bit of a different story. How did your visit with Glenn go? Give us a 15-second update. Janice, I can't really speak on his health because obviously there's regulation, stuff like that, but he was good. We were joking. We were laughing. We actually cried a little bit together as well. It was emotional, but I'm optimistic in his recovery. I still want everyone to pray for him. He had some family there. His wife was there. So a lot of very good support system there. The facility was at. I actually really liked it. It was very peaceful out there. In Salisbury, North Carolina. I believe that's where the town was. But other than that, everyone, just keep them in your prayers. But, any kind of major updates, again, I got to, there hasn't really been any change. Did Glenn mention Janice? No, we didn't really, talk too much about VectorVest. We kept it very light. Again, my main goal for Glenn right now is just, for him to get some rest. So I didn't want him to. He did ask about coming back to work. I will say that. I'll say that. He said he was ready to come back to work. Me and his wife, Janet, kind of looked at each other and were like, ain't no way. Ain't no way, buddy. Not right now. But he's in great spirit. That is great that you're able with Glenn, and he's doing better. That made my day, Ryan. Thank you. Of course, John. Tabula, we are all trying to keep him calm. Of course, he didn't mention me. No. But we really try to, he did want to talk about work for a little bit. But I try to just, steer the conversation away because, again, he just needs his rest right now. I don't need him stressed out about work and, what everybody's thinking and worried about. But just know, I talked to him. He's still the same smartass that we love him for. I'll put it that way. He hasn't lost his Glennism at all, and that put a big smile on my face just knowing that. All right, let's get in some news stories here before I get all distracted on Glenn. We all love him. Yes, Bill, I'm glad as well. All right, let's see here. Let's put up. All right, just got a couple of news stories for you today. First one, just want to let you know what's going to go on in the market today. Pretty light this week on economic data. Friday, towards the end of the week, we could get a little bit of volatility just based on what's coming up on the economic calendar. Today, we've got some PMI data coming out here. Existing home sales market tends to be up. I wouldn't say necessarily because of that. There's a lot of other things going on in the world. Tomorrow, we've got consumer confidence, 10 a.m. That'll definitely, give us some insight on the market as well. And then at 10 a.m. as well, look, Fed Chair Powell testifies to House Financial Service Committee. So we will see exactly, any updates there. It's how the market likes to react to what Jerome Powell says. So if you see some volatility Tuesday, don't be surprised by that. Wednesday, not a whole lot, just new home sales. Thursday, we do have quite a bit of data here. We got GDP. This is quarter one, the second revision. Right now, the estimate's still negative 0.2%, right? Guess what comes out at the end of this month? Well, that'll be wrapping up the second quarter of GDP data. So in July, we'll find out if we're getting 2 quarters in a row of negative growth, which, that's typically how people define a recession. So we shall see. We shall see. Now, I will say this. Friday, between the GDP data, Friday we got PCE data. Again, this is inflation data. This is definitely one of the metrics that the Federal Reserve is going to look at. You can see right now. See the estimate here. Median forecast is at 2.3. The last estimate was at 2.1. Or sorry, the last thing was at 2.1%. So we probably wouldn't want to see a tick up based on that forecast. Ideally, it to drop, even if it just remained the same at 2.1, I would be happy with that. But just keep that in your mind. If you see some volatility on Wednesday, again, Jerome Powell speaking. If you see some volatility on Friday, again, inflation data coming out with some PCE data. All right, earnings report. Earnings season isn't over. We got a couple names here to mention. Monday, Tuesday wasn't anything. Nothing really spectacular. But Thursday, we got a little semiconductor Micron hiding in the mist here. For some reason, I was thinking most of the earnings was out or done, but we got Micron coming out Wednesday. So if you're holding semiconductors, probably want to pay attention to see what Micron is doing. But overall, the semiconductors seem hold up pretty well. A lot of optimism there from this last round of earnings. And then Thursday, we've got Nike after the bell. So those are going to be the 2 big companies reporting this week here. There's a couple other little ones on Thursday. We got Walgreens here, McCormick and company. But Nike, Micron, those are going to be the stocks potentially big movers there. Fox says, looks like a rate cut is coming in July. VectorVest is giving back profits starting the afternoon. VVC is giving back profits. Yeah, we had some optimism coming out of the gate this morning, but we did see the Dow Jones was the first index to turn negative here. Did you look into CYBL? Yes, I sent that to Angie. Let's see here. All right, next up here we got oil markets. So everyone was talking about Iran and oil, right? Is oil going to jump? But look, oil is actually down today. If we take a look here, let's just look at the Brent crude. Let's do West Texas, WTI here. Let's go to 1 week. See, it spiked up. And it looks like it hit its high on Thursday. It's been retracing since then. Again, oil is not showing the optimism I'd like to see with the conflict in the Middle East. We'll take a look at some oil stocks as well. But this is what I'm more concerned about right now. Look, Iran's parliament backs blocking Strait of Hormuz. Its closure would alienate Tehran even further, right? Now, this could really put some pressure on oil. And not oil, but shipping companies. So we're going to, I'm going to take your picks on some oil and shipping companies. We're going to take a look and see if they are moving to the upside. In my watch list today, I think I have Zim. I think I had Oxy, Exxon. I had a couple different stocks here. And I had some oil tanker companies. If you're going to play oil right now, I think the tanker space is probably the one that's just going to show the momentum to the upside, the pops. If that's, if you're trying to swing trade off of, this news, these geopolitics and energy, I would look at oil tanker or even shipping companies in general. It was always going to be very difficult to fully fill Glid's shoes, but Ryan is doing a mighty fine job. Thank you, Tabula. I appreciate that. I definitely do. So again, oil, I'm not going to fall for that trap because last time we did this with the Houthis, whatnot, it was shipping stocks that took the charge, right? It wasn't oil. So if you are in oil, just make sure you stay disciplined. But I don't see that right now. Now, if the Strait of Hormuz gets blocked, and that's going to block oil tankers, puts a pressure on oil, yeah, I see that probably being pretty short-lived swing trade. But otherwise, I'm more focused on oil tanker companies in general. Or shipping companies. But before we make that decision, we're going to look in the software and just see where the opportunities are presenting themselves. All right. Now, I mentioned this last week. Zuckerberg spent billions of dollars on AI Dream Team. He has to deliver for Meta shareholders, right? Compared to Google, compared to some other, Tesla, they're in a big race right now. AI spending, right? last week announced $14.3 billion in Scale AI. Now, there's a lot of money being spent around here. See, Perplexity, they're in the talks to buy Perplexity here. There's a couple other Scale AI. Where is it at here? Here it is. The building fundamental models use the vast community of developers where the company competes with Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, and others, is where Meta is viewed by many as a laggard. That's what we're talking about right now. So they're spending a lot of money, and it's Facebook. They have a lot of capital to do so. I'm not going to sell them short, but look, they're right up at the top of the list here, right up there with Google, OpenAI, and Anthropic. So they are still a huge contender. And, this space costs a lot of money to be a part of, and they're willing to pay the price tag. So I think probably that Llama project, a lot of ambition behind the Llama project. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. Here we've got, this came out Friday, the end of last week, kind of over the week a little bit, but chip stocks followed report U.S. could terminate waivers for Taiwan semiconductors and others, right? These waivers are essentially the restrictions of this technology to China. You can see here, look, TSM down, NVIDIA down, SMH down a little bit here. See, the VanEck ETF, NVIDIA, Qualcomm. So yes, this is going to put, pressure on these companies because, again, they wanted to deal with China so they don't lose a lot of revenue. We saw the figures here, a lot. We're not talking millions. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars of lost revenue. Taiwan semis and NVIDIA, down a little bit because of that. But more importantly, this is it right here. The 90-day tariff reduction between the U.S. and China, which began on May 14th, is set to end August 12th, right? Now, where's that here? But July 9th, I forgot where was it here. July 9th is the end for the reciprocal tariffs, right? So we're going to find out if these tariffs are coming back between July and August. There's been other things dominating the news right now. I've seen that the China headlines have kind of taken a pause with everything going on in Iran. But again, these tariffs, the deadline is coming right around the corner. And we saw how the market responded to that last time. So, if there's not a deal, if we're going back into that situation, don't want anyone to be caught off guard. And again, we're already seeing some weakness, as we approach this deadline, especially the first one here on July 9th. With the DEW, kind of on the pivot point to a down signal, or just wait on the DPO there a little bit. All right, let's jump back into the software that we kind of see what's going on in the market here. Let me go over to the viewers tab. They did not update. Interesting. Oh, I put it in the wrong folder. That's why. Duh. All right. See, these are from the news story here. We had Taiwan Semiconductor. Again, some of those items as far as, the Chip Restrictions Act, that's not good for their bottom dollar. Do I get the whole purpose behind, trying to, staying ahead of China? From a technological standpoint, for sure, for defense, national security purposes, I get that, the logic behind that 100%. But you got to understand, cutting off, we saw the figures, what was it, NVIDIA dominated like 80% of the China market, and I think now they're down to like 40%, but they've dropped dramatically. There was just an article about that. They pretty much had a dominance, but now they're losing that share because of these technology restrictions and the rise of their own semiconductor capabilities, right? They're still behind us, but keep in mind that's not good for the bottom dollar. Micron down 1.5% today, getting closer to earnings on Wednesday. Zim, this is a shipping company here, down as well. This is a natural gas shipping company. SFL, this is a shipping company as well. And here's some two oil plays. So pretty mixed here on these geopolitical stocks, with the tensions going on in the Middle East, we could say. So that's why I think the market's already seen this playbook too many times, and these stocks, not really feeling it right now. Occidental Petroleum up a little bit. This up 1% here. It's 1.25%. So no like real big moves. Nike to the upside. Again, they've got earnings later this week. If we're looking from a valuation standpoint, Taiwan Semi still undervalued. Valuation still on the rise at 234. Micron greatly undervalued. This one is definitely overvalued. It's maybe not. Treat that more like a momentum play. Overvalued. See the gold or oil stocks. A lot of investors piling into oil. You can see the valuations now trading at premiums. There used to be some deals at oil, but a lot of these oil stocks, those the valuations definitely get a little stretched there. Glenn is doing well. Thank you, Bill. All right. Now, as far as these stocks here, if I scroll over, which one's got the most momentum behind it? It's going to be Taiwan Semiconductor. Which one's the safest? Taiwan Semiconductor. Which one's got the highest RV? Micron, followed by Taiwan Semiconductor. RT's here higher. So just looking at these right here, it's showing me that the semiconductors spot might be better to be in than some of these geopolitical plays. Just looking at these stocks here, right? We got the shipping, we got some oil tankers, we got some other than Nike, that's just the earnings one. We got some crude oil plays here, petro plays. But just looking at these indicators here, I'm still looking at semis. I still like semis. Whatever. And actually, I wanted to go to the industry viewer. Scroll down. All right, let's do the top 40. I'm going to keep electrical connectors because that's been on a run lately. I want to take a look at heavy construction, semiconductors. Let's see what the foreign ETFs have been doing. Aerospace defense. Let's see what that Ford also did. Because remember, these were doing really well at the beginning of the year. I'm kind of curious what they're at now. See what uranium's doing. Foreign banks. Again, that was one of the tariff plays as well. Something just crashed the SPX. I'd have to take a look at the candlestick here. As I scroll down, transportation ship. It was at the top 40 here. And then there was petroleum, machine equipment. All right. So we'll take a look at these here. We're going to look at the graph, right? See what kind of momentum we're seeing in the industries. And actually, you know what? I won't mind keeping it on the DEW layout. So we got 30-day weighted moving average. I will get rid of the envelopes, though. We got DPO here. Now we can see electrical connectors here. I mean, it's still rocking and rolling to the upside. The D-traded price oscillator obviously showing that momentum is waning because, this was a lot more momentum compared to this. So that's why the DPO has been on decline. But as long as it's still rocking and rolling above that 30-day weighted moving average, you could look at the usual indicators on here, 20-day EMA, star search, something like that. But it's still momentum. It is a down day today. But that momentum, the trend overall, is to the upside. So I'm not too concerned there. Here's building heavy. Look at that, rocking and rolling above that 30-day weighted moving average. Obviously, the momentum slowed down a little bit off the lows here, but that's kind of like the blast off the bottom fishing zone. So I'm not too surprised at the oscillator showing a little weakness. But again, as long as it stays above that 30-day weighted moving average, I'm liking it. Semiconductors. Ooh, what do we got here? We got a little trend line from before. What's Ryan been looking at here? Oh, yeah, that's the trend line. Look at that resistance. Boom. You might try to retest. If we see some kind of dip, I'd like to see what kind of retest we get there. Otherwise, it's still above that 30-day weighted moving average. I'm, again, not too concerned right now. But we are seeing the momentum slow down here. So that's why I've been on the train of, being a little bit more concerned about taking profits from this rally rather than trying to squeeze the last few bucks in, right? Or definitely opening up new positions. Now, if you do open up new positions, just make sure the position sizing is correct, and that your objectives are more suitable, right? Because, if you bought stocks down here when the MTI was at 0.6, fresh DEW up signal, right? A lot more potential for an upside, rally rather than, as of recent with the MTI, at these elevated levels, right? So just keep that in mind. But that being said, semiconductors, still positive to the upside. All right, not too concerned there. ETF foreigns, look at that. Oh, it dropped below its 30-day weighted moving average. If you're holding the foreigns, I'd be careful there because that momentum clearly to the downside now. If we're looking for any kind of level support, probably going to go in this area here. Probably somewhere there. That would be a nice level support here, but that would create a new low if we broke it there. So maybe a little bit more optimistic here. Maybe right here, around 48.56. Just connecting those candlesticks. But right, it's a downtrend. So if you bought in these stocks, these ETFs, and you've been rocking and rolling in profits, and you're starting to see your profits dwindle, just ask yourself, what your intentions are. I know everyone's got a different plan and different method, whether you're short term or longer term, whatever it may be. But right now, be more concerned about protecting profit. If you're looking to do some bottom fishing on ETFs foreign, look at these levels here on the industry. See if you see any kind of pivot off of these levels. Might be a good entry point, right? Amir says, hello, Ryan. What do you think of the market dropping down and VV is negative? All yellow. Should we get out of the market now today before DEW goes red? Amir, I'm not a financial advisor. But all I'm going to say is if your whole intention was to take advantage of a nice rally when that MTI was low, the tariff bottom, the China, whatever it may be, this swing trade, yes, just again, be more defensive than worried about buying stocks. We'll take a look at the market. Clearly, everyone's saying it's starting to sell off right now. We'll see what happens, but I'm not going to say I'm surprised by that with MTI so high. I saw the red light flashing this morning, and then it jumped to green, and then now it's back to red. Could have been a bull fake. We'll see. Look at aerospace and defense, though. Aerospace and defense, I see an up day here, especially with everything going on in the world today, all the news. Nice trend to the upside, starting to diverge away from that 30-day weighted moving average. So, if you're holding aerospace defense stocks, probably this is a space where you might want to, tiptoe. I'm not going to tell you right now, obviously, if my contras are in the green. If you are going to be bullish on the market, this is probably one of the better industries to get in. I'm not going to say it's the best time to get in, probably not. But you can see that upward momentum here, diverging away from the 30-day. Most of these other industries are showing weakness over the last few, trading week or so, right? So just keep this in mind. Aerospace defense still looks hot, right? Here we got ETF 4s, boom, trending down, broke that 30-day. And look at the DPO, negative now. So you're in the whole, I get it that diversification, these things were working, right? Now they're not working. So just keep that in mind. Can you show us how to do a search on stocks with rising RT day, MA crossing over the one line? I see this on the NPI graph. Yeah, as long as you have star search, moving average crossover, any kind of crossover, RT crossing over the one line. Ooh. I think I could do that. Let's see here. All right, here's uranium. That's not what you want to see. Look at that big upper wick, bearish engulfing. I mean, this was from $4 now to $8. It was a hot spot. So, if I or Glenn got you in some good uranium stocks, the nuclear play, the AI data center play, that kind of stuff, that's a warning sign, right? And we'll take a look at the market. We'll take a look at the DEW in just a few, but this is a warning sign for uranium. So if you're swing trading, now if you're buy and hold, or you're thinking more long term, or you don't want to sell it, tax purposes, whatever it may be, covered calls, something to get defensive, right? But otherwise, yeah, that's concerning for me right here. We got a gap right here in the industry, so we could maybe potentially fill that. Worst case scenario if we get some follow through, but yeah, that doesn't look good. U12, what are you talking about? What do I need to learn? VectorVest saying, protect your profit. Market timing is dropping. So asking, be careful. But if you know better, let me know. Huh? With VV, the end of day color guard is the standard, not intraday. Yeah, it's end of day data if you have the end of day subscription. But just going through, yeah, definitely get defensive on your radio. Let's take a look at these couple other industries here. Bank foreign, again, broke that 30-day weighted moving average. DPO, definitely in negative territory here. So it looks like the foreign playbook kind of looking like that's over with. We can see it worked out in the beginning of the year. Took a big drop. Worked again. Took a big drop. If we're looking for some support here, maybe somewhere in this area. What's the top of here? We just surpassed that. Maybe. See if you can find some support in this area here. If you find some support, nice pivot. Maybe break this downward trend line. Pivoting off this. That would be the bottom fishing or the bottom here. The play I would look at. The green went red. Now RT is barely over 1. We'll take a look at the signals here. Transportation shipping. Look, shipping. Still above that 30-day weighted moving average. Down day today. Most of these industries are down today. The only one that was up, it looked like, was not semiconductors. Defense. So again, defense is the only one here. Everything else showed me some weakness. This is still above its 30-day weighted moving average. I'm not that concerned. Again, it's all about where you're happy at with your profits or your losses. Don't get too greedy right now. Here we got petroleum. Petroleum struggling on that 30-day weighted moving average. Pretty flat. Again, petroleum, oil stocks not seeing, the rally, many were expecting from the Iranian conflict. I wasn't too surprised by that because it didn't happen last time. That's why I was looking more towards the shipping stocks, but we'll see what happens here. All right, so yeah, we just covered quite a bit on a lot of different industries here. So hopefully that helped you. And again, I mean, just looking at them quick, down day, trending down day. Aerospace defense. Ooh, it was good, but it might lose its ground there. So possibly down, trending down, big down day, down. Showing weakness, right? Showing weakness right now. I'm not going to say go out and sell everything. I'm not saying that at all. You had a plan in place when you bought these stocks. You had objectives, right? See if, take a hard look at your portfolio. See if your objectives have been met. See if they're close to being met. Things of that nature, especially, again, from a swing trading perspective, right? Now, if you're buy and hold, that's different, right? If we go back to the whole page here, oh, wow, look, we went all green, all red. Look at all the industries red here. The only one's positive, the top RT industries. Let's scroll down. I'm reluctantly taking a 30% profit on PSIX now. Tabula, don't be doing that just because of what I said. Look at the chart. Don't, look at it. Does the chart tell you should take some profit? That's what you should, does the chart. Make that decision based off the chart, right? But the VectorVest 7 system is showing me that the weakness is, in the broad market is occurring, right? If we even look at the stocks here, we got mining and positive here. Not too surprised by that. Let's go back to the graphs. We saw someone said it was a pretty big sell-off here. We'll go intraday. Whoa! What happened? What's going on in the market? Look at that. That ain't good. Well, I'm glad I'm telling you guys to get defensive. I'm glad I'm telling you I don't advocate buying stocks right now. I just had a feeling. But, again, one day's not a trend, but this is a lot of volatility in the market. S&P trading at session lows here as well. Qs trading at session lows as well here. Definitely took a good for my contras. Right, let's go back to the home page here. Actually, let's go to graphs. Let's go to 1 month. All right, so here's the primary wave, right? Primary wave went down back on June 13th, right? You see we're in my zone here. Today we got confirmation to the downside. I think I said this Thursday and Friday. If you tiptoe into some contras, the MTI at elevated levels pulling back nothing but yellow lights. Wouldn't be, again, don't bet the bank, but transitioning from bullish stance to a bearish stance right now, not a bad idea. If I zoom out a little bit here, looks like we're just breaking that 30-day weighted moving average. DPO obviously showing that momentum is weakening for the bulls here. All right, now let's take a look at some stocks. Y'all ready? Let's look at some stocks here. All right, so this is the rule. Defense, oil, shipping, gold stocks only. First 20 that come in the comment section, the first 20 we're going to look at, right? Essentially, these are going to be your geopolitical plays, right? I want to see if gold's working, right? Because if the market's pulling back and even gold's not working, cash ain't a bad idea. Because that's why I was looking at things like the old suspects, like the foreign stuff, foreign ETFs, shipping. See if there's anything working. Not a whole lot of working right now, right? Now, obviously, there's probably some individual stock plays, but as far as industries, not quite there. All right. MCK, Orla. And some of these stuff you may own. Some of these things you might be thinking about getting into, getting defensive. And it may not be working. So before you, change up your whole portfolio, before you start getting any of these things, get defensive, let's see if they're even working. If you've been in them, let's see if they're still working. And we'll go from there. What do you think on techs? We'll get to techs, but right now, Circle, that is not this category. Defense, oil, shipping, gold. After this, we're going to go to your picks. So then you can put in whatever you want here. And actually, I will take rare earth as well. Annette. PRSO. HIMS, Alex, we'll look at HIMS just above at USAR. I'll take a look at USAR, but anything that's, fits this, geopolitical spectrum, the gold, the petroleum, the shipping with the Strait. Potentially, I saw the Iranian parliament trying to block it. Let's see here. Harmony, it was a HMY, XOM, Katos. All right, hit the, Katos is already on the list. That's cool. Scroll down here. All right, that's 13, so we need 7 more. 1, ITRG. GE, good one. Ricey, good one. I'm curious what Rolls-Royce is still doing here. GE, those others don't fix. Don't apply. NOC. Those are not Amir. Those are tech stocks. I'm just going to look right over them. We got Shield. I think Shield's in there already. UAMY. NGD. We're not doing tech right now. Just doing like gold, rare earths, petroleum, shipping, all your geopolitical typical plays, defense stocks. Semis, I know they are they're caught in the crosshairs, but we're gonna look at them in a minute. All right, we got 21. We met the criteria, and you actually got one extra out of me today. All right, let's scoot this over, see what we got here. Right at the top of the list. This is what we're gonna do and make it real easy. That's why I love the VectorVest 7 software. Let me show y'all a trick right now. We just go to auto fit. Boom. I'm going to resort. Boom. Oh, someone gave me telecom. Who gave me telecom? Auto fit. All right. Let's see here. So these plays, telecom, looks like it's working here. I don't know. I think it's by my resolution. Rare earth, not working. Oil, not working. Silver, gold, not working. Oh, well, these are working. So it just depends on which gold stocks you're in here. I will say this. The gold stocks that are really undervalued, look at this. Really undervalued. Really undervalued. Doing a little bit better than ASM, right? ASM is getting fully valued. So if you made a lot of money on ASM, taking some profits, looking at some other, maybe more undervalued gold stocks, probably not the worst idea Amir gave you telecom. Yeah, I think he did give you telecom. Let's see here. But look at these. These are kind of mixed here. Let's go percent price change. A lot of stocks in the green here, even with the market sell. Arista Networks, Harmony Gold, Defense up, GE. So again, I mean, I'm getting tired of beating a dead horse, but looks like gold, defense, not a bad route. If we go down here, the rare earths, not seeing optimism there. A lot of the oil, we got, let's see here, Exxon down. Orla is down 6% as well. And that one is greatly undervalued. Be careful with Orla. There might be something news related there, or could just be some profit taking. But it looks like defense still, if I'm going to squeeze the last few dollars out of this, rally that we've been in, my focus is probably going to be on defense here. And, gold, selectively, right? Just bought Circle at 250, now 261 sold. It made a quick profit. Man, I'm glad I did that video on Circle. The market cap of Circle is going through the roof here. And Circle has the potential to, change a lot with stable coins. I know a lot of people probably don't really like stable coins or crypto in this community or care less about it. But there's a lot of things that can go there. Now, as far as Circle now at 250, I don't know. Now it's just a crapshoot. So just be careful. Stick to the technicals, right? Don't be scared to take some profits. All right, but yeah, as far as these stocks here, look, Kato's Defense, Harmony Gold up 2%. Telecom, great day trading stock right now. Are you talking about Circle? Yeah, Circle I could see for a great day trading stock, definitely. Especially since it broke out of that the little consolidation point I was in. And actually, let's do that. Let's go to your picks. All right, hit that like button. You got about 30 seconds. Don't put in the stocks yet. Hit the like button. And every 10 likes equals a stock. I'm going to hold true to Glenn's word. But I am going to throw in Tesla. That's why I'm telling you, don't put in stocks right now. Because I got some honorable mentions. I got Circle. CRCL. Duh. We're going to take a look at AMD. And we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. And what was the other one I want to look at? HIMS. All right. Joey, how many likes we got on this bad boy? All right, 56 likes. You get 6 stocks, and that starts right now. So whoever put in the stocks early. All right, CoreWeave. SoFi, that's a good one. Take a look at it. IDCC. Interesting. Now that's interesting. I haven't heard of that stock. I'm looking forward to that. Iron. CF. Again, this is all based on the likes. Well, you got 11. Plus the 4 I put. So, yeah, that's 7. So, you got 1 extra out of me. All right. Let's see the big movers here. To the upside, Tesla, 8%. Apparently, it's got to do with robo-taxis yesterday in Texas. Circle, up another 7%. I can't believe this thing's at 259 right now. Whew. I mean, I get the technology. I get the importance of USDC, the stable coin. But I would focus on the market cap of USDC. Not Circle, USDC. See how the market cap is growing. Because if that market cap's growing, guess what? They're just, taking that the backing behind it. And it's all treasury notes. So if that market cap's growing, I could see that justifying this price action. But otherwise, this is pure momentum play. Stick to the technicals. Don't don't come at me telling me you're getting a good deal here at 257 because I don't know if you're getting a good deal, but VectorVest is saying no. All right, some of these other stocks. Interdigital, IDCC. This is actually the only 3 stocks that are up today. Tesla, Circle, and Interdigital. I'm curious about Interdigital. That's a new one for me. AMD, pretty flat. CF, pretty flat. SoFi, to the downside. These are big movers to the downside. We got CoreWeave, 12%. Him and Hers, 32%. I'm curious what these stocks are doing here. It's still at 161, but look at the valuation, 899, right? So, again, momentum play. But Hims and Hers, we valued at $22. I mean, this stock was rocking and rolling here. But that's the big news out. Novo Nordisk ending a lot of their John Spot and Dad. We don't need no stinking gold stock. Gold stocks. All right, let me put in Spotify and Dash. Those hit new highs. All right, those are making the list. We're going to take a look at them. So if you do want some momentum plays to the upside, look at this. DoorDash up 2%. Spotify up another 2%. Look at the price here. $7.25, $2.54. DoorDash. Whoo, what is going on with these companies here? RT relative timings. Nice, strong momentum to the upside in these. Let's see what the safest stock on the list is. Safest stock, we got Tesla. We've got CLS, Celestica at the top of the list here. AMD, top relative safety picks. For my long-term investors, right, my buy and holders, we got HIMS coming at 1.63%. CLS again, top of the list here. CLS, keep that one on your radar. AMD, and again in the top 3. Let's go to sales growth rate. What are the big, what's good on forecasted sales? Ooh, CoreWeave, 420%. Iris, 171. HIMS, 111. Circle, 58%. Growth rate, all double digits here across the board. Let's see what the highest ones are. HIMS again. So forecasted data, HIMS, maybe there could be some bottom fishing opportunities here. We'll take a look at. How is the value column calculated? The best way to know how the value is calculated, the whole formula is out there. They're in the little green book, which is on the training tab in the VectorVest 7 software. Oh, this little here. There's a whole chapter on our valuation. Or if you're not a reader and you'd rather just watch a video on it, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dr. Leto, and probably one of my favorite stock videos of all time, VectorVest or not, just YouTube. Stock valuation and stock market cycles. Stock valuation, stock market cycles, Dr. Toledo. Put it in YouTube. Here, let's see here. Let me pull it up. Because, he goes over the whole formula. Cycle. This is it right here. I want to find this for you guys. This is it right here. This is 9 years ago by Dr. Toledo. So if you want to hear it from himself. Oh. But yeah, this is Dr. D talking in this video. And then it's about an hour long, but this is how the market works. There's a whole section. Yep, there it is right here. So if you want to know the formula, the bread and butter of the valuation, and get a better understanding, I think they leave a couple things out because it's proprietary. But if you want to know here, look, earnings, interest rate, profitability factor, earnings growth, inflation. So there's a lot of key factors there in the valuation. But this is from Dr. Leto himself. And actually, I could just put it in the comment section. Copy. There we go. This is some homework. But yeah, if you want a good video to watch, this is Dr. D right here. And it is phenomenal. It's definitely great. And it covers more than just valuation. But that is some great information right there. All right, let's go back to the viewers tab. All right, we went over the different individual indicators. Now let's take a look at the charts here, see what we got. And for this, we are going to use a different layout. Let's go to my layout here, my 3 and 8. We're going to get rid of RSI. Look at value, earnings per share. Boom. Let's go to 6 months. All right, so thank you. We'll take a look for good sleep. I'm going to tell you, it is not the most entertaining video. But Dr. D, he was like a mathematician. So if you really want to, dive deep into how the value is calculated, that is the video to watch. It'll give you all the information, as well as a lot of other information. Definitely check that out. It's one of my favorite videos by him. But here we've got HIMS, right? We see the drop off. Whew, it just broke Star Surge. It broke everything. So let's zoom in at 3 months here. Valuation, though, look, we still valued at $22, so still way overvalued. Sales growth rate, I mean, the forecasted data looks good. But this is bad news bears when it comes to this stock, right? It went to a hold rating. Our stop price, I'm just curious because we did not even give it a sell yet. What's our stop price? 42. So it's real close to our stop price here, which again is just a 13-week moving average, slightly adjusted for the company's fundamentals. When that band breaks, doesn't it usually bounce back? Typically, yeah. Typically, it's going to want to find a way to the means, right? This is a lot of bad news. But that's a big break, almost 20, 30%. That's what I'm saying. It's catching a falling knife right now. If I'm going to, look for levels of support, probably going to be right here, maybe here. Be 37 to 45. Probably could go as low as 37. But with the market where it's at right now, the MTI, the sell-off that we saw right now, very little wick here. You're catching a falling knife, and VectorVest is very close to giving it a sell recommendation, 42.90. If you want to take a nibble, that is on you, and I'm not even going to show how that works. And yes, that is a cup and handle, but the handle broke out to the downside, right? Yeah, almost a perfect cup and handle. It's pretty close, right? You can see the cup, boom, the handle, the breakout from the handle. That was probably my first warning sign here, because that would have been the breakout of the handle. Gave all of that up, the wick, everything. Tried to come back, right in there, rejection once again, and obviously the news breaking out. But yeah, can't get too optimistic. If we look at the one-day intraday chart here, we're trading at session lows. So I'm not seeing momentum. I'm not seeing, the bulls trying to come back, fill a big gap here, none of that stuff. So if you're holding it, I'd be inclined that there's probably a little bit more downside potential right now. Some more downside. Stay defensive. Oh, and that actually looks like the sell did just come in place. We're coming at 42.75 now. Yep, we just crossed below that. Look at that. VectorVest just gave it a sell rating as of right now. So again, I'm not going to advocate catching this falling knife. If you're in it, protect whatever profits you may have left, mitigate whatever losses you may have left, because the news just broke out and I'm not seeing any buying pressure there. I'm not going to say that there, in the near future, there may not be, there may be a really good buying opportunity on him. So I'd keep it on your watch list. But as of today, right now, it's just a guessing game. I hope it drops to 27. Jazz, I wouldn't be mad at it if it dropped 27 too. I might have to, anywhere in the 20s. Obviously, I'd take a look at the chart, see what it looks like if it did do that. But here's DoorDash. You can see I had a little level here before. I was looking at resistance, 215. Broke before it. Got confirmation to the upside. That's just overvalued right now. I mean, that's going to be my only concern. So maybe you star search. The 20-day actually looks like it's doing real good. Sales growth rate's the only thing that faltered on forecasted data. Everything else looks good there. So let's just look at 3 months. Yeah, I like it. Just hit a new high as long as it stays above that 20-day. It went from 200 to about 226. What is that, about 10% there? So good move to the upside. DoorDash showing that momentum. Spotify, same boat here, staying above that 20-day. Looks like a bullish engulfing candlestick here. Same exact situation, just overvalued. Forecasted data, not horrible. Decline on sales growth rate, earnings growth rate, EPS on the rise though. So overall, just treat them like momentum plays. As long as they're staying above that 20-day EMA, as long as I'm within my profit or loss objective here, keep riding into the upside. But I do like these two. Here we've got SoFi. Again, I guess I've had some levels here, but look at this. Rejection. If I extend this line, looks like it's playing this rejection thing here. Follow through from it, so I would be careful. There's the ascending channel. So if I was a short-term trader on SoFi, I would probably be bearish. Just a heads up there as far as SoFi. Sales growth rate faltering, growth rate, earnings, EPS on the rise, 39.14. Yeah, that's not my concern here. That's good. That's good stuff. My only concern is, stock's overvalued is what it is. But more so this rejection at this trend line here. We got an ascending channel, just playing a little ping pong in that channel. Right now we're coming to the downside on that ping pong game. Here we've got Iris Energy. That's a bearish engulfing candlestick. Was overvalued, went overvalued. You can see that 20-day giving you some wiggle room to the upside. Higher lows there, nice uptrend, but that is not good. Big upper wick, huge bearish engulfing candlestick approaching that 20-day. After the July high, market will no longer fly. Tabula, that was my guy. Me and Steve Chabla, he put that on my radar. We were talking about it a little bit last week. I think we might get a July high. I think it might be in the very beginning of July. I'm not sure. I have a feeling we might get a July high. We shall see. Missiles going into Iraq apparently now. Is that what them? Oh, man. Well, what they think was going to happen. I don't know. But, to think that another country wasn't going to retaliate is just, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. I'm not going to speculate because I'm not watching the news. But apparently in the comment section, there's more missiles. Iraq, yeah. So it's probably could be U.S. personnel. That would make sense just because geographically are close enough to Iran for those kind of attacks. All right, but yeah, as long as Iran stays above the 20-day EMA, I like it. But right now, boom, rejection, bearish golfing, not there. CLS, I like CLS. I mean, that electronic space has been hot. Value on the rise, price action on the rise. Now, if you got this, closer to 60, 80 bucks, and now you're at 130, you're up almost 50% in a month or two. Doha, Qatar explosions. That's not good. I'm not going to speculate what's going on in the comment section, but apparently there has been some updates to the Middle East here. Might pull up on CNBC here in a second, see what we got. Yeah, it's 102, so we're probably in the live stream, see what's going on here. And I got to do the video for 6 p.m. tonight, so we'll see. All right, AMD, staying above the trend line here. Value on the rise, price action on the rise. Again, just with the market conditions right now, be more concerned about taking profits. But if you're longer term, hey, you're still above the trend line, still good there. Here we've got, this is that IDCC hitting a new high, so showing momentum. Nice retest on the 20-day EMAs. I like what I see here. It is overvalued. Earnings per share on the rise as well. Nice strong buy rating. As long as that buy rating holds, I like it. If we go to a hold, or if we go to a hold rating, obviously adjust accordingly, right? Here's CoreWeave. It looks like a bearish engulfing candlestick. I see I had a level here, the breakout level. It broke out. It was retesting it, right? I think, it was this stock here, the 8-day. If it breaks much below this 8-day, which is 163.33, we're at 164, I'd get, defensive. I want to be scared to take some profits here because you see that 8 days doing a great job keeping you in. Otherwise, the 20-day EMA is right here. And my real level support, probably about 131. Circle, big upper wick today. Be careful. I don't know when this train's going to end, but that momentum is there. Right now, that 3-day, as long as it stays, because that's a big move there. $50 to $265, sorry. I'd probably tighten up to the 3-day. If it drops below the 3-day, start taking some profits. BTC on the decline here. I'm not too surprised. Again, Bitcoin likes to move with semiconductors. We're seeing the weakness in semis starting to, not weakness, but at least, short term, a little pullback in some of the semis. We're seeing that in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is they put an asset class, but me personally, I think it's a risk off. So, when there's not a lot of risk, right now, obviously in the comment section, things going on with Iran right now, I would be more of a risk on asset kind of person, like gold or silver, something like that. Let's see here. We've got CF Industries. Just diverging away from value. I like the 20-day EMA. Bearish engulfing. Again, just be careful. I think the theme in all of these right now is just be cautious. The only thing really showing a lot of optimism to the upside still is Tesla. You can see here, nice level support, nice pivot off. Big bullish engulfing. I like it. All right, that's the last stock there. Let's just take a look at the homepage. And I haven't made tonight's video. Put some topics in for tonight's video. I'll take a look, see what the topics are right now. I think we have Tesla as a topic potentially. We see the NASDAQ composite went back to positive. Let's see what these major indices are doing real quick for head out. Okay, all right. Going back. So just some volatility here on the markets. Pretty mixed right now. VectorVest composite. Consolidating as well. Looks like a maybe a possible pennant formation forming up here. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Again, I'm going to take a look at the news, but put in... Ooh, Bill says uranium, investing for this war as a topic. What stocks do you suggest for long term? Any bunker stocks? Oh, God. As far as long-term positions, I really like advocating buying long-term positions when the MTI is low, right? Because, it just gives you a good buffer. Because I hate to, tell you to buy something for the long term when the MTI is so high and you ain't got no buffer, right? I'd rather, be more likely to start out in the green on my long-term position than the red. So, Anita, that would be my advice right now. If you're thinking for a long-term position, depends on the stock, but in general, with MTI so elevated, probably wouldn't do that. I guess defense stocks would be a good buy once the color guard changes to green. Yeah, Michael, I'm thinking either defense stocks, maybe Tesla, but I'm going to go look at the news. So clearly some stuff is happening. Everybody, enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy life. Keep Glenn in your prayers, and I'll see you Wednesday afternoon. Take care.